Morning, Natasha. Thanks for having me. I just want to encourage people. I think in life, incidents occur, things throw you off, and sometimes you need to really simply just push forward, right? I had an incident in 2018, very close near-death experience. I was a victim of crime in 2018. I was stabbed, I was beaten, I was told that that was going to be my last night, right? And coming out of that experience, I lost everything materially possible. I lost everything that I worked my entire life for, everything that my father gave to me after he passed away. I lost everything materially possible. And in that moment, I felt like there was nothing I could do to push forward or to move on from it. And as such, I would have left the country at that point. I just left and I went to the United States with the intention of living there illegally as an illegal immigrant. And 2 weeks into my stay there, I was contacted by the local police who advised me that the person who attacked me and almost killed me was killed in a police incident. And at that point, I made the decision to come back home. So this would have been 2 to 3 years ago. And when I got back home, I said, hey, what Branford HR Solutions has to reopen. I need to start back exactly where I left off. And in that moment of restarting, rebranding, starting over, basically, I found that I was able to be a little bit more adaptable to change and be a little bit more open to, just doing things differently, right? So I was more open to change, more open to doing things differently. So if I could encourage anybody today, it would be to let them know that life is always changing. The only constant in life is change.
All right. Okay. So as I share with, interviewees all the time, this is really about providing information and inspiration to our growing community of MSMEs, business leaders, persons who can certainly glean and grow from your journey and your experiences. So first up, your journey, Akeem. Tell us, how did you become in your current role? Is it everything you dreamed of? Why? Why not?
Okay, well, how did I become a master resume writer? Because I've been doing that for a number of years. A little too more than I want to admit, but I've been writing resumes for a long time, since my early 20s. How did I become a resume writer? I've been actually doing resumes for my friends, my classmates, my family all the time. And it's just something that I always had a knack for until I was able to monetize it and I was able to study it professionally. So is it all I've hoped for? I didn't anticipate doing resumes for people in different languages, people all over the world. I have clients in the Middle East, clients in Africa, Australia, the UK, Canada, all over the US. I also do training on international resume building. So I did not think just doing 1 or 2 resumes for my friends or for my sisters would have gotten me where I am today. I didn't think that would have happened.
All right. Well, tell us how that all got started.
Well, it got started in a classroom in a tertiary education institute in San Fernando, right? My friends and I at the time, I could probably call name Fazida. She's one of my first people I did a resume for, and she was able to land a very, very good job shortly thereafter. And I was like, okay, this is something I have a knack for. And I just kept doing it for friends. And then, sometimes you may not hear from people after, but then when you look on either Facebook or LinkedIn, you see their job change and they're now chief accountant somewhere. And you're like, okay, so she got the job with the resume, So I just continued seeing the successes of my work and the successes of my clients. And that has really propelled me to where I am today.
Okay. And what were you doing just before you jumped into being a master resume writer full time? What were you doing before that?
Well, what I'm doing before that is what I'm continuing to do now. I am a human resource professional. I do work in the public service as an HR specialist. So currently I've been in HR now about 13 or 14 years. So I've always maintained the positions in the public and the private sector. I'm growing towards hopefully becoming an HR executive sometime soon.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. All right. So let's get your perspective, on the other area here today, your contribution. So what
Mhm.
you have been doing and so on, how has that contributed to the development of the economy and society? Kind of give us
Well,
that impact.
Well, in terms of society, I really think I'm helping to shape and mold minds, right? Now, a lot of people they're bright. They're bright. People are intelligent. People have degrees. People have experience. But when it comes to putting that on paper, there's challenges, which is understandable. So people tend to think that a resume is just something you just dump your entire life into, and that's not true. A resume is a document that is supposed to attract a recruiter to meet you. On that interview is when you wow the room. So people need to learn particular things about resumes, which will help them get employment, take care of their families, and contribute effectively to society. So I may not directly have an economic impact on Trinidad and Tobago, but my clients do.
Absolutely. That's great. Okay. So want you to tell us a little bit about your outlook. So I
Mhm.
know we're in an environment of change that's happening every time, every day, every minute, every hour. So what have you observed significantly from your perspective over the past 2 to 3 years, or maybe the past year, and what you think is going to happen? What's your expectation? What's going to unfold over the next couple months?
Well, during the last 2 years with the impact of the pandemic, I have definitely realized that unfortunately, a lot of people I shouldn't say unfortunately, it's not unfortunate, but it is what it is, right? That a lot of people before never had to have a resume, right? Because of the society we live in, which is very close knit and people are very connected, people get jobs because of who they know. It just is what it is. So if Tom knows Jane really well. Jane can get you with a job because they're friends, whether of Jane's capability or not. But at the end of the day, um, people do get through with jobs because of linkages and their networks, right? Well, the change I have seen in the last 2 years is that this is changing, right? People are now having, because of job loss, because of COVID, because of financial constraints, people are losing their jobs. And a lot of people who have lost their job in the last 2 years, from my experience and from what I have seen, are people who never really had to have a resume before. So then they're like, oh, I need a resume now. What do I do? And then they go on LinkedIn, they search up the boy who does resumes in Trinidad, and they have to come, they come by me and they're like, oh, how much does this cost? I don't know anything about it, but you just do it for me. I need it now, and at that point in time, I'm able to give advice, talk with people. I have Zoom sessions with every single one of my clients. So I get to know them on a deep level before I write about them. And again, what I've seen in the last 2 to 3 years is that this is just a process that has become a lost art, right? People don't know certain fundamentals, which is okay, because I mean, people, it's not something that you have to do all the time. Once you have the job and you're not studying your resume and updating it and that kind of thing. So what I hope for in the next 12 months is that hopefully the pandemic eases up a bit, and I hope the job market stabilizes, that people are comfortably in their jobs. They don't have to be running around all the time. Now, I know from a business perspective, I should be saying, yeah, I want more clients and I want more resumes, but I also want people to be happy. I want people to be safe, comfortable, productive, and happy in their roles. So that's my hope for
Okay.
the next 12 months.
Okay.
Yeah, my most challenging experience and how I was able to get over it. I've had 99 challenging experiences, but I was able to get over all pretty quickly. I'll mention one, right? Given that my business is currently a one-man show, I don't have an accounting team and a finance team and a marketing team, and it's me doing everything. So I remember years ago, I tend to be very trusting, which is a problem I have, but I'm working on it. Um, the advice I'm going to give coming out of that is to protect yourself financially and protect your company financially, right? I got a client some years ago, and she wanted a resume done. And I don't know, somehow you get a gut feeling from early that the interaction was not, um, I don't know how to put it, but the interaction, something was off about the interaction. And the person paid me using one of the payment engines. And I she called me and gave me some story, and she said, hey, I need your resume right now because I need to send it right now. But the payment engine she used to send the payment to me, the payment did not clear yet. So I'm very careful with her. And I said, hey, your payment has not cleared. And she's like, so what, you think I'm gonna take back the money? And then she was very angry. And me being trusting Akeem, I said, no, but I said, but here's the resume, when the payment clears, it'll clear. And a couple of days later, I got an email from the payment engine company telling me that the person retracted the payment for non-receipt of the product. And this is where the industrial relations side of me came out. I was able to snip all of the emails, all the interaction with the person, as well as the email where the person received the resume. I sent it off to the payment engine company. And then the power of LinkedIn comes in here. One of the finance staff / customer service staff of the payment engine company was on my LinkedIn. So I messaged her and I said, hey, can you look into this for me, please? Someone is trying to be fraudulent with me. They're trying to defraud my business. Can you look into this for me, please? And she said, sure, but put forward a query and I'll look into it, which I did. And it took me about 3 weeks later to get back that money. So when you're in business and you're genuinely trying to help people, there will be those who may come your way who may not have the best of intentions. And that's okay. That's up to them and God. That has nothing to do with you. So for me, I simply chose to go about things the right way and protect my company financially. So if there's any advice I can give to a business, please protect yourself financially. You're in it for money. It's not a fun hobby, it's a business. Of course, my advice to anyone entering business is to first and foremost understand that you don't know everything and you can't do everything on your own. No man is an island. When I started in this business, I was a mess. Okay, I knew I was good at resumes, but financially didn't know how to manage money, didn't know how to do any type of marketing, did not know how to handle branding, how to label myself as the resume person to go to. So when you start, throw all pride aside. You don't know everything. If a vagrant at the side of the road is going to give you advice, sit down on the pavement and listen, because you do not know everything. There were people that jumped into my life out of nowhere when I started, and I have to say thank you to Adrian Havelock. Adrian started helping me from the beginning, never charged me a cent, never charged me a dime. He just said, hey, I believe that you can do this, and I am going to help you get there. And outside of coaching me, he's become my friend, because now I'm able to ask him, hey, can you, what do you think about this? I want to do this with the business. What do you think, So I'm not telling a new business person to go and tell everybody what they're going to do and just broadcast. No, but you need to have trusted people in your corner who are going to tell you the truth, who are not going to tell you, yes, do it. No, you need people to tell you, hey, that's not going to work for you. Don't do it. So you need honest, trusted mentors in your life.
That's good. That's good, Akeem. So now we want to get into some fun side. Ready for
Right.
us?
Sure, not a problem.
All right. Having fun so far, though?
Yes, definitely.
Tell us a few of your favorite things.
Okay, so my favorite food, I am a sushi fanatic. I know that's a bit, cliche, but give me a night of sushi and I become a complete teddy bear. I absolutely love a good roll of sushi. I'm not going to call any brands, but I'm well known at one of these sushi places in Trinidad. So yes, sushi. My favorite song right now, anything from Ariana Grande. My favorite person is my mommy. My mommy and I have the biggest arguments all the time. But, at the end of the day, um, she is really a positive driver in my life. My mom calls me every day, and without fail, she starts the call with "I love you." In the middle of the call, it's "I love you." At the end of the call, it's "I love you." So she is, my everything. My other favorite person is my deceased father. He passed away 4 years ago, and my business is named after him. All the principles are about him and that kind of thing. So he lives on in my life.
Wow.
And my favorite place to visit, New York City. I'm a complete New York City junkie. Give me Times Square any day. H&M. I'm a total shop fanatic. I love Dallas BBQs. Give me those wings that are big like this any day. I know they're not healthy, but that's my thing. I always wanted to experience the big city, and I got to do that in 2018 and 2019, and COVID stopped me in 2020. So as soon as the borders reopen, I'm going to New York for sushi while listening Ariana Grande.
I tell you, you have it all planned out. You have it
Mm-hmm.
all
All
planned
planned out.
out.
All planned out. Yes.
All right. So we're going to continue
Oh my
laughing.
God.
We're going to this
The
time we're not laughing
clumsiest
with you. We're going to
moments.
be laughing at you. Take a
No,
deep
this
breath
is
and tell us your clumsiest moment.
my God. Okay, so I'm gonna completely embarrass myself with this, but that's okay. I'm older now. This happened when I was a child. When I was a kid, I'm not gonna go too far into everything. I'm just gonna give you the Cliff Note version, but I had a really, really horrible soccer bag addiction. I loved the soccer bags as a kid. Not just the Kool-Aid one, but the one with peanuts and was milky, and it really hit your taste buds on a hot day. This cool soccer bag was everything. So I spent weekends at my aunt's house a lot when I was a kid, and $70 was for the peanut soccer bag. So my aunt gave me $1.40 to buy two peanut soccer bags on the Sunday evening. But I didn't want to buy it at that moment because I knew my mom was going to take me home because I have school to go to the next day, and then I'd come back the next week by my next weekend by my aunt. So I stood up in front of her yard between her two bougainvillea plants, and I put my feet 2 paces, and I buried the $1.40 in her yard. So all week I went home, and all week I'm thinking about this soccer bag. That I'm like, oh my God, as soon as I go to Auntie Linda's house on the weekend, I'm getting my soccer bag. To my horror, when I got to her house on Friday the following week, do you want to make a wild guess what happened?
I know
You
what.
can't guess? No? My aunt paved her yard. I sat down on the ground and I was bawling. I was screaming. I was lying on my back and I was bawling. Because when the animals bury things, she said, you must try to understand that the things that you like are not always for you, right? So there are times where you may want something because it makes you feel good, it does everything for you, but it may not be for you. And I said, what do you mean by that? I don't understand. And she said, what if the peanut soccer bag that week was made with dirty water and you got sick? Come on. So my aunt and my dad taught me some of the biggest, most valuable lessons in life, but that was my clumsiest moment. With regards to pet peeves, I have a lot of pet peeves, actually. Things that I'm very, very passionate about in terms of treatment of people. I believe, I'm really, one of my biggest pet peeves is definitely racism, and because I've experienced that a lot, I have a particular look, and people have stereotyped me in particular ways and think I'm probably mean or rough or whatever until they talk to me and get to know me. So my pet peeves would surround things like racism, how you treat people, advantaging people, that kind of thing. Because of their backgrounds or the color of their skin or how they speak or anything like that. I surely believe that people need to be judge based on what they can do and what they can deliver and their merits, not what they look like, not the color of their skin, not the fact that they have a black beard and a black small earring, you know. It's definitely about what can you do, what can you deliver. And another pet peeve I have is people who use their power to lord it over others and to advantage others. No, you should use your power to uplift people, make people better. Also, another thing, indecisive people. I grew up in a home where my dad said, make a decision, do what you have to do and make your decision. So when I deal with people now in my business who aren't very decisive and aren't able to make decisions quickly, you know, I have to guide them, make recommendations, coach them. So I'm using it as a learning for the both of us, so to speak.
That's good. That's good. That's good. All right. Some more. So
Ooh,
tell us.
please. I don't have time. I would just binge watch something on Netflix, try to calm my mind with something mindless, right? Nothing that requires too much brain space. So I actually sat on Saturday with my eldest sister and we watched Angry Birds 2. I can't believe that was the first time I saw Angry Birds 2
I
because
have
I don't have
never
the
seen
time.
it.
I honestly don't have the time.
All right. So we are on to the last question in this
All right.
corner for now. And so here we're going to ask you to make a wish.
My wish is really to be happy, right? To make sure that all stars align for me professionally, personally, health wise, all of it. I need all my stars to align. I always resisted the calling to start a business. And my current mentor, Janelle Phillip, laughs at me all the time because she said if you started earlier, you would have been so much further ahead. However, she's also right that I'm exactly where where I should be, you know, at my age. So anybody who's considering business or considering any form of entrepreneurial venture, do it. I had one product when I started, resumes. Now I do local resumes, international resumes, ATS resumes, military type resumes, federal resumes. I do LinkedIn profiles, cover letters. I do LinkedIn optimizations. I design banners. I do coaching sessions, training sessions. I do advisory sessions. I do a lot. And I'm adding more products to my company as well. I'm doing email signature design and a whole bunch of stuff. So you're going to fall on your face. You're going to try and you're going to fall. But you have to get back up because you have to understand that if you don't get back up for you, no one else will. My wish for the world right now would really be that we're able to resume some sense of movement. I know that people feel very limited right now. Feel very, very confined. But I think we just need to be safe for now so we can enjoy things later. So definitely, my wish for the world and myself is that all the stars just align and people are able to be happy.
At this time, I want to wrap it up by saying thank you on behalf of the Key Business community for your words of wisdom, your experience, your journey, your laughs, and everything in between. See you around the corner.